excited to be back. I have this here, spoiler alert to my mother. Mom, if you're watching this live or in the replay, well, live I can't catch you, but if it's the replay, don't watch this one because it's for you. So I'm going to get this out of the way. Just press pause. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while since I've been on. I'm glad to be back. I'm happy to have this week be the week to be back as well, because who better to make a rock for than our own moms? I mean, moms are the rock of a lot of families. So I came up with this fun design. I was inspired by a fun drawing book that I'm going to share with you as well. Thank you, Nancy. I missed being on. I'm still not 100% set up at my new place, but I just had to get on and share a fun rock idea this week. So without further ado, we're going to get started. I just bumped my camera, so apologies for that. If you have a really fancy script style handwriting that you like to do, you can easily do this in the center. I like having the raw rock in the middle. You could even add color to that if you want. So thanks for everybody joining in, all the lovely words. Thank you, Barb and Aline. It's nice to be back. So I'm just going to do easy block letters for my mom. I like to do my O first, just so I can center it on the rock. So simple enough, circle with the circle around it. And then you can add your M's on either side of your O, but this way you can kind of space it out how you want to. So we're just going to do really simple letters here because the fun comes in the design elements on the outside. There we go. And then we'll do a one on the other side, exactly like it. You can make it bigger or smaller, whatever you want to do. I was really excited to do this one. I've got a few moms that I'm going to be making these for, so if any of them are watching, I'm in trouble. They're going to get a sneak peek. They're probably going to get them late anyways. It's a little late to be sending things in the mail for Mother's Day, but that's okay. There we go. So we've got our basic mom on our rock. Yes, practice. Block lettering, you know what? Practice on a piece of paper if you need practice. Don't practice on your rocks. You guys know I love my Post-it notes. Practice on a Post-it note, even sizing. If you just draw it on your Post-it note first so you get a good idea of the size you want, it does help a lot. And I am going to use my Post-it notes today to create the radial lines that are going out from the rock. So you can kind of start anywhere. If you want to pick a center point it's all going to, the O kind of works. I didn't think about that when I did this, but I'm going to today. So you can just take your corner, and the reason I love to use the Post-it notes for doing on my rocks is if the rock is round, it actually will curve on the edge of your rock really well. So just pick places along your rock where you're going to do these radial lines out from the center to the edge of your rock, and you can go as far over the edge as you want. And just work your way all the way around, and you can do them as far apart as you want. The more lines, the more spaces you'll have to add design. You might have some areas where you cross over your letter. Don't draw a line through the middle of your letter. Just kind of skip the gap. There's a little spot there. And we're just going to work all the way around. And you can kind of plan them out so you don't have to worry about crossing your letter if you want to as well. So I'm using the extra fine. This one's my extra fine pen to do these lines. And as always, just don't press really hard so it doesn't splatter. Just a nice gentle touch. I always say the paint wants to go on that rock, so you don't have to press hard to get it on there. There we go. And I'm not counting or anything. As you can tell from the rock I did up here, I didn't even go the same pattern of colors. I just kind of mix and matched them all around. But I'm excited to share this book with you. I found it when I was at the craft store, and it's really fun. It's very inspiring for me. I love doing patterns and designs, as you guys probably know if you watch my videos. And so this was a great way to get inspired. It's actually this is what the title is called, Scandinavian Coloring. It's a coloring book, but it has this really cool cover. I'll leave a link to it on Amazon in the comments when I get off. But I'm going to show you, it's actually a coloring book, but this is the picture that I used for inspiration. They do a lot of this really cool line design and patterns, and they're really fun and unique. And I mean, I used something along this line and this line, so you can kind of draw inspiration. You don't have to buy rock painting books to get inspired. So it's got some really neat stuff in it, and neat linear designs and elements like that. So that's where I got my inspiration. So I wanted to just, you know, can't take credit for coming up with all of this on my own. So once you get your pieces, we're just going to start coloring in our design. And I'm going to start with pink because of all the colors, the lighter the color is, sometimes it will need a second coat when you're right on the rock. So I always start with my lighter color first in case I want to add a second coat. And we're just going to fill in all of our little triangles here. And like I said before, I didn't go in a pattern. I just kind of skipped and mixed and matched around my rock. I did less lines on this one just so you're not on here forever today. So you can use as many colors as you like as well. I like greens and pinks and things for spring because that reminds me of my mom. On a day like today, she's probably outside in her gardens tending to flowers and things like that. So these pretty colors for spring make me think of her. And you can color in the O if you want to with whatever color you want. I don't like to split it into a bunch of different lines. I'm just loosely going. I do have my extra fines on the side that I can touch up along the lines or in these small spaces of the letters as well. So I'm just blocking it out. I'm not being super concerned with getting close to the line because I'll go back in and touch that up. And you could definitely do this with your acrylics. I'm using my pens, that way they're nice and dry and I can finish my design quickly in a timely manner for you. If you're going in with your acrylic paint, just make sure that your paint is nice and dry before you start doing your designs on top. Like that. See, now I'll just use my extra fine in that spot. And you can touch up around your letters too if you do get on your black like I just did there. I think I'm just going to use my light green, pink, and purple since I have less areas to do. There you go. Although then I have less designs I get to pick from. You know me, I like to change my mind while I'm painting with y'all. So we might go in and add, I'm going to add a couple more lines. We'll make them skinny so they don't take up too much time. How about that? We're going to do a few skinny dark green ones. We'll make it a real simple design. One there. Maybe one to break this one in half. This one's pretty wide. There we go. Just because I don't want to skip some of the fun designs. Okay, so we'll go in with some purple and just teeter back and forth between the colors that you want to do. Blues would be pretty. The pastel pens would work really good for this rock. Those colors are great for spring. Whatever your mom's favorite color, you know. If she loves purples, you could do this dark purple and a pastel purple, or like an ombre effect if you're using your acrylics, and go from a light purples to dark purples. So I am seeing the comments. Let me refresh over here on my computer. I do have my computer set up. I'm telling you, it's funny. You don't realize how much you miss having your computer and internet till you don't have it for over a week. I missed getting on. The last video I did in my sister's front yard while I was traveling. So that's nice to be able to glance over at my computer and see what you guys are saying from time to time during the video. Here we go. MJ, you asked if I paint the back. I don't always paint the back of my rocks. If I base coat the whole thing, usually paint gets around to the back. So in that situation, there'll be paint on the back. Sometimes I paint both sides of my rocks. Like I'll do a double-sided rock, like one side will have something different on it. So I could say Mom on the front and have a beautiful flower on the back. Something along those lines. It's totally up to you. If you do paint the back, just make sure that you're sealing both sides of your rocks so that you protect your design from the elements. Put that space in there. We're going to do this skinny one over here with the green. And then let's pick a color for these last two. We'll do pink here and light green up here. Right here. And like I said, if you want, you can do 2 coats of the pink. It's kind of a lighter color. Same if you did like the yellow, sometimes you'll want to add a second coat when you're right on the rock. Just some of the lighter colors tend to soak in, I think, a little bit more when you're right on the rock. If you base coated your rock in white, probably wouldn't need to worry about it. There we go. Just like that, and we'll get the light green going up here. As far as the designs that you're doing on your rock in your patterns here, they're endless, you know, of what you could do pattern-wise. I chose to use the same pattern in each color, so you could pick a fun pattern design for each color. I do suggest, if you don't do this style of rock a lot, to doodle. Practice, like I said, on a piece of paper or a Post-it note. Play around with a few different design ideas that you like, and just make sure that it's something that you want to do. I was gonna say, I probably have my doodle lying around here. I mean, you don't have to take forever, but see, like, this is my doodle from my rock. You like that? So, I mean, you don't always have to go straight to your rock. Even after you watch a video like this, you can take and doodle a little bit on your piece of paper. So I'm just going to come in here with my extra fine and get along those edges that I wasn't able to get to with my big pen. It would have just taken too long to color it all in with these smaller pens. At least live. And I'll probably go in and touch that up a little bit more also once we're done here. We'll go in here and do our M. There we go. And probably was on the screen on that a little bit, sorry. The camera's kind of in a weird place right now. I'll find a better place to get all set up. I do have a lovely window here by my desk, so we got some decent light today. And I'm gonna do that little spot of purple, and then we'll move on. And like I said, I can touch up more when I don't have y'all sitting here watching live. So just like that. Okay, now I'm gonna mix up where I'm putting my designs on these. You can do really simple designs, or you can make them really intricate designs. Like I showed in the book, I mean, there's endless inspiration in here. You can also look up Zentangle and things like that online and find lots of really unique inspiration. So this is going to dry. It dries so fast, so I'm able to come right in. Again, if you're using acrylics, make sure you give them plenty of time to dry before you go back with your pen on top. So for these skinny green ones, I'm going to do my loops in that because it doesn't have to be very big. For doing these, it's basically almost like a cursive E that slowly grows into a cursive L, is how I would describe it. So just find a place to start and just loop-de-loop. Just remember to pull away and up and then over. Make sure you're going further enough out that they're not landing on top of each other. And you can kind of fudge where it would come back over. See, I'm off the edge of my rock. Do the same thing on this one. Loop, loop. And remember, just a nice light hand with these pens. So they don't splatter. You can always add a second coat to it. Hopefully I was in the screen there for you guys. For the green ones, I kind of want to do this fun. I like these. Almost looks like a big long leaf. Now, if you're doing a pattern or design where you need to have a center, go back and grab your Post-it note. Again, give yourself a spot to aim for. So say this is about halfway in between your two lines left to right, about right here. So you give yourself that spot and then pick a spot that's about halfway here in the middle at the top. And just get your Post-its and see, because this is why I like to use these. So you line up on the front. And so you can really push them down, and you can see that, yeah. So you just really push it down firm, and it will curve right along the edge of that rock for you. So you're able to get that line going down the edge of your rock and cut it in half. So we'll cut that one in half, and then we'll do this one over here. So right in the middle, left to right, find the middle. Make sure you don't have too, it dries fast, but just make sure that you don't have a wet spot. You're smashing right down on your rock. So just line it up and just press it down, and you're able to get that middle line. There we go. Make sure you don't have any wet there. And right about there is our center. And if it's not exactly in the center, that's fine, but it just helps. You get that nice line in the middle. And then for these, I like to have the lines going out and up. So just pick a place to start to do your first line, and then you can go both directions. I suggest doing all of your left slants and then all of your right slants, because then you're using that same motion with your pen. It's easier to make them parallel when you're doing all of them in the same direction at first. Sneak one up there. You can even sneak one right there if we want to. And then turn your rock and go back in the other direction. Like that. Because then you're using that same motion. If you're using repetitive motions, it's easier to keep your lines similar than to go back and forth, back and forth. Like that. And we're going to do the same thing over here. So I'll do this side first. You can hear my rock is a little bumpy. I posted for the weekend post. I had planned it ahead. I figured by last weekend I would have time to go out and get rocks, and I haven't. So I'm working very bottom of the barrel here from my last bunch of rocks. So I'm getting to some pretty rough ones, but this design goes on pretty well even on a rough rock. Just use that really as light of a touch as you can, and it will help from it splattering on you. So this first one way up here at the tippy top. Here we go. All right, and then on the purples and pinks, I did kind of a heart design. So you can do the same thing. You're going to have that line that splits it in half. So we're going to use our same technique here with our Post-its to split it in half easily. And then we'll do one of these. I'm just going to do one of these, and then I'll do one of one more design. And then I'll finish up my rock separately so that you guys don't have to watch me fill in all of these. So for this, it's basically a heart shape. I do the same thing, but for some reason I have to do my hearts on the right side first. I don't know if it's because I'm right-handed or what. So just start on your center line and kind of do an up and over heart shape. Just work your way down your line like so, and then you can try to match it the best you can on the other side, up and over like so. Just the way down the rock. There you go. And you could add a design on the outside of this as well. I'm going to fix this line while I'm here. If I'm ever drawing my lines without my Post-it for a guide, I always do little short, almost little chopping motions. I don't try to draw a really long straight line freehand. I just do these tiny little hashes, like up, 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 like that, okay? Sometimes that will help. You follow the line without going over. And then the last one here, it was this fun little check type pattern. And like these little X's down the middle. I had this kind of, you know, little scallops along the edge. You could use that one, or I mean any design that you want. You don't have to do these exact same designs by any means. It's totally up to you what you want to do with these, but I'm going to do the same one here just so you can kind of see, and just start on one side and just little arches. And I kind of like to arch from both sides. I go left and then curve to the right. Kind of helps me keep them round and not diving down on one side. So I'm going to do the same thing here. See, it's easier for me to turn my rock around and do the same motion as before. So I'm actually going to go left to right here. Like that. And then there's just these little X's in the middle of this one that you can do working your way out, like so. So I'm going to leave it at that. I will finish this rock and I'll post it in the comments when I'm all said and done. Just take your time with it. Have a lot of fun with it. There's so many different designs and things that you can do to make it really unique and fun. Once you're done, you go back in with your extra fines and you can really touch up and get really close. Just really make it special for Mom, just because, you know, they deserve it. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I'm glad to be back. Thanks everybody for watching. I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.